Hello, this is Paulo Arias with International Relocation Partner, and every week we're trying to bring useful information for you guys. I know you're thinking about moving abroad. I mean, if you're in this channel and you want to learn more, it would be a good idea for you to get in contact with a relocation specialist, with someone that's got the experience to do this. And I actually met this couple. We had dinner few months ago. They have an incredible story to tell. Let me introduce you. Start abroad. This is Zach and Anna, and I want you guys to introduce yourself and walk us through what you guys do and tell us a little bit of the background.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us, Pablo. We're really excited to share our knowledge, both personal and
It's a
professional.
pleasure to see that face of yours again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So maybe just to provide a bit of a background. So Zach and I are co-founders of a company, Start Abroad. Personally, we have been long-term expats. I've been an expat for the past 11 years. You've been 10? Yeah, a long time. As long as we can remember. And we started this company because we realized that after 6 international relocations each, there wasn't a solution that we found where you could get all the help you needed moving into a new country if you weren't moving with a company. So we wanted to provide one place to provide services, everything that you're going to need as an expat relocating to a new country. Everything from the big stuff like visas and shipping to some of the smaller stuff like how to buy a car, how to find a rental, how to move your pet. So all of these things we aim to provide to our clients to take the stress out of an international move so you can enjoy the journey.
Yeah, I mean, we've moved so many times ourselves. What should be a really exciting process, oh, you're going to move abroad, often becomes really negative. It becomes really overwhelming and stressful, and there's so many things to manage, and you might get ripped off. And so we wanted to be the space to just be an expert guide and partner throughout the process. We met in Kenya. Anna's an HR expert. She's moved people all over the world. I'm an operations guy. We thought we could, with our personal and professional experience, we thought that we could really help people out, make it a positive and exciting experience.
Yeah. So lots of personal experience moving abroad, lots of professional experience moving to other countries.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you guys, you guys have the background and experience. You guys did it yourself for many years, many countries, and now you guys are. How long ago since you last moved? Your last relocation process was 1 year.
Personally,
We moved to Costa Rica in February.
mm-hmm.
We were living in East Africa for a long time. We worked with farmers, and we wanted to be a little closer to home. We wanted to live in Spanish. Costa Rica is a beautiful country. We love the nature here. So yeah, we moved to Costa Rica in February.
Okay, but it's interesting. You have as professionals, you have the experience. So it means that this is basically the company you used to work with have moved you to another country, and there is an HR department, and usually it's called Global Mobility Department.
Yeah.
That basically what they do is they give you the opportunity to work, let's say China, let's say whatever place. Then you accept the offer. Yes, I want to work in China or Africa or whatever location. But then after that, there is a lot of little things that a company has to do: the immigration, the work visa, and then where is my employee going to live? The housing. If you have kids, where are the kids of my employee going to study? Because if you're moving somebody abroad as a company, you have to figure out all these things. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible for them to acquire that talent. One quality talent. You have to
be happy. Yeah.
So it's just part. This is corporate relocations, and
this is similar to what I used to do professionally. So I relocated people to I think over 20 countries in the past, and so realizing that doesn't exist for just like your digital nomad or your retiree as much, that we wanted to provide that service.
See, and that's exactly what I was going to go with this comment is mobility or relocation companies for the corporate world are all over the place. You could probably think this is a billionaire company moving employees from big corporations like Kimberly-Clark or all of these big tech companies, or they move their employees is normal. But when you're moving by yourself, when you're deciding, hey, I want to move to Costa Rica, I want to move to Panama, nobody's going to help you. Usually by yourself. This is an entire process where you need to learn about all of these details how even things into how where to buy my groceries. What is the best thing for if I wanted to eat healthy?
How do I meet
We
people? Yeah.
those things are, I guess, second nature for me. That I am a Costa Rican. I have lived in Costa Rica for many years. But if you send me to China, I would not know where to buy my things.
Exactly. So
there's a lot of
sorry. There's a lot of people who need to move abroad. Maybe they can't afford medical in the U.S. or they want to buy a house and can't afford it in Canada. And then there's a lot of people who dream of moving abroad. They want to live in a country like Costa Rica. They want to live in a country like Panama. And so if you say, I need to or I want to move abroad, and you start thinking about it, start looking at actually what it takes, there's a lot of people who never make the move because it's so overwhelming. There's so many things to learn. It's a fraught process. People get ripped off all the time. People make bad decisions and lose a lot of money. And so we wanted to be able to meet people when they're ready to make the move, or at least thinking about making the move, and say, here's everything that you need to know. We got you. Don't worry about it. And so we're allowing people to live their dreams and helping them overcome the barriers that otherwise might prevent them from doing it, or that might make it a really negative experience.
It's giving the people the confidence, really,
Yeah.
to know you have someone who has your back throughout the process.
See, and once again, this is so important. And I'm doing these interviews. I'm trying to bring people with knowledge on this particular, process, because this is the reason. And I said this all the time. Over 30 years of doing international shipping services, and oftentimes, very often, I found people that contact me and say, hey, Pablo, I need you to move me back with everything I need, because Costa Rica just didn't work for me, or Panama just didn't work for me. I hate it here. And this is for the private customers that we serve. People just wanted to move to Costa Rica and then just decided, hey, I'm buying a property in El Coco. And true story. Somebody purchased a property in El Coco, invest $4 or $5 million into developing their beautiful, dream developed, construction project to sell. And then they end up losing everything because they could never get water on that property because nobody told them, or because they thought they were, they had, I guess they make mistakes. They lost $4 or $5 million. And this is somebody that is now, I would say, 65, 70 years old, that he's now returning to his country, starting all over, trying to make their money again because they lost everything. And this is just one example. I can think about at least 10, 15 examples of people contact our company. I need to move back because it just didn't work, or somebody ripped me off, or it wasn't what I was expecting. So just the fact of having somebody to give you the true, the brutal truth, or what are the things that you should expect, that could save you a lot of money.
Absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't matter what it costs. It doesn't matter if it costs $5,000 to have an expert guide you, or whatever it may be. I don't know how much, but you could save, in a bad $200,000 investment in real estate, just to have somebody say, hold on, before you pull the trigger on that property, let me take a look. Let me get an expert. You might not be the expert. You want to bring an extra set of eyes to take a look of that transaction and say, hold on, is this really what you need? Can you get something built on that property? Can you get water? Can you get? There's many different things, and I think your service is so useful, and it's just important. It's very important.
Thank you. Really appreciate you saying that. I mean, coming from you, that means a lot. And just to touch on what you were saying, so we charge $2,800 for our concierge package, which means we're going to help you with everything. The reason I think a lot of people might have sticker shock when they first hear it. But if you think about a move as a minimum $200,000 investment, so you're going to buy a property, you're going to buy a car, you're going to get shipping, you're going to move your pet. It's probably more than $200,000.
Shipping is about 10,000.
Yeah, right. So you make a mistake. You make a mistake on any one piece of those, it's going to cost you $10,000. And then we also think about the time. So, a lot of people join Facebook groups and they'll spend hours and hours and hours doing Google, YouTube, Facebook. And I did a poll of people who are thinking about moving, and it's sometimes thousands of hours. So if you value,
it's like a full-time job.
Yeah, and if you value your time at $50 an hour, all of a sudden you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars. And so our general value proposition, what we want to communicate to people is you pay us a little bit up front, but think about all the time we're going to save you and what that means in terms of your value of your time. We're going to help you avoid expensive mistakes. We're going to connect you to the right partners so you do it right the first time. And you're not going to deal with any of the headaches and hassles that come up when someone's trying to rip you off because you made a bad decision. And we're going to help you make the right decisions the first time. So we're going to pick the right spot for you. We're going to help you really understand what life is going to look like. So we think, one of our general pieces of advice is like, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
We're here. There's other people. There's plenty of expats who will help you. Because it's getting the help up front is going to
really reduce the issues later.
And save you a ton of money.
Yeah.
So that's generally our general value proposition.
I was just going to say that I think sometimes the challenge with doing it all on our own is there's the things you don't know. And then there are the things that you don't even know you don't know. And that's the stuff that's going to get you, like water rights in Costa Rica. And every country is a little bit different and has things that, I didn't even realize that was something I had to worry about. But that's what you want to become aware of very quickly, right? So that's kind of one of the areas where we can provide value to our clients as well.
See, there's, once again, this is super useful for all of our audience, customers. If you're thinking about moving internationally, you don't have the experience, talk to a professional. Just talk to a professional. Now, I'm gonna give what's the worst it could happen. Somebody make an investment hiring a professional. They decided not to move to Costa Rica because they learned that, I don't know, Costa Rica is just more expensive than Nicaragua or Guatemala or one popular destination, Ecuador, very popular destination.
Yeah.
Probably 30% less expensive than Costa Rica.
Much more affordable.
I just talked to a client who decided to move to Ecuador instead of Costa Rica.
Yeah, best decision for them. We help them with that decision.
But you're making this investment up front, but then they decided the right thing for them, for their particular case. So that's super useful. It's super. I see the huge value in this, doing it right, doing it properly. If you do it right, you're gonna stick. You're gonna do this for your entire retirement, and you're gonna enjoy the process because you knew what you were getting into. But if you just pull the trigger, purchase a property, then you're gonna regret it. That's just my personal thing. I've seen it firsthand. Many people contact me as a shipping company. I need to move back. Paolo, can you ship everything back to Canada? And then I say, yes, of course. I provide packing services. This is my business. My business is not to tell people not to move or where to go. My business is just ship stuff. But I feel bad whenever I have to send somebody back home. Because I know they're losing a lot of money. And then say, here, it's $8,000. It's $12,000 to move everything back, and that's an additional big hit on these people that initially they thought living in Costa Rica was the dream. Living in Costa Rica was my retirement. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. So this is why we're doing this.
This is one of the challenges of our business is so everybody's different. And there's like cookie cutter packages which will work for somebody. But what we really pride ourselves on is offering very tailored services. So somebody comes in and we take time to really understand their situation, because then we can give them the best feedback and the best advice. And sometimes the best advice is like, Costa Rica is probably not actually what you're looking for price, maybe like the type of environment. And that can be hard. Like that can be hard for people to hear because they've had a dream of moving to Costa Rica. But that's something we pride ourselves on, is we're gonna give you the best advice based on our experience and knowledge.
Well, I think it's just honesty, and then also being really focused on the individual or the family, right?
Yeah.
Like everything that we do is so custom tailored to that person, and all the advice that we give is too.
We've seen, there's so many people who have in their head, I'm going to retire to a beach in Costa Rica, and they'll buy a house sight unseen in Coco. And then they go, and Coco, it's hot. There's like tourists. It's more expensive than you think. And 6 months later, they're like, Costa Rica didn't work out.
But maybe another location could have.
Another location could have. And yeah, so it's doing that work with people to help them make the correct decisions the first time.
Just talking about that, I'm surprised because there is very little people moving. There's some places in Costa Rica that are super, super good areas to move, less touristy, and at least half of the cost. Like just cut the cost in half.
Absolutely.
It might be a little far away from the hot expat locations like Tamarindo or Nosara or Fortuna. Right. But if you're willing to drive an hour, 30 minutes to get to these places, or if you don't need to be every day into a place like Tamarindo where there is restaurants You just walk 5 minutes to a lot of restaurant options. These options could be very, very valuable. And that you need to talk to somebody that has got experience that and
Totally.
explain this. I don't want to be in the hot location, in the hot expat location or the
Right.
touristy location. There is a lot of options for Costa Rica, for Panama, everywhere. There's a lot of options. So the fact that everybody's moving to a place like Tamarindo or Bocas del Toro in Panama, that doesn't mean that you have to go to that location. There's an entire country for you to pick from.
Well, I'm just saying these countries are incredible. There's a lot of different. One of the wonderful things about Costa Rica is the diversity of the environment. And one of the things we like to talk about with clients is nice to have versus needs to have. And people really should think about it. What do you actually need? Do you actually need to be on the water, or are you okay driving an hour? Do you actually need access to big box stores, or like is it okay to go once a month to a store? So that's something that we help people kind of work through. And then like come to the country and you got to take your vacation lenses off. So people will come for 7 days and be like, I love Tamarindo, I got to live there. But it's different to live in a place. So helping people work through what you need to have versus nice to have, and then seeing what life is actually like there is a really important step of the process.
Okay, I have one last question before our time is over. And you can just say one of this. What are the 3 most common mistakes people do when they're moving abroad? If you can just give us one, and what would be like the answer, what not to do, this will help a lot to our
Kind of already
customers and
talked
audience.
about a couple of them. Let's see if we can get a new one. So we talked about buying a house without knowing the area or before renting. We always recommend rent before you buy.
Before you buy.
We've talked about deciding on a place before visiting without your tourist glasses on, right? You want to understand what it would really be like to live there. What's another one?
Maybe somebody you like post on a Facebook group, or you're joining Facebook groups, and somebody's like, I can help you. You don't know them. You don't know if they have any qualifications. You don't know what they know.
That's good.
And that's people get ripped off because everyone's hustling, everyone's trying to make a living. And often we want to trust somebody because we need help. And you're like, great, here's my money, you're going to do this thing. And you never hear from them again. You don't know what they're doing. So depending on the country and depending on the service, you need different certifications to qualify you. So now in Costa Rica, it's like SUHEF certification. There's different licenses you can get. You should know what to look for in different partners. They should be recommended by a number of different people. So that's a mistake that people make that we actually help with. So we have a whole vetting framework. One of the things that we guarantee with our clients is the quality of our partners. And if they don't meet your expectations, we'll refund you our fee. So knowing who you're trusting and who you're giving money to.
I think you touch on a point that I'm really worried about, this particular point, especially on expat groups, forums, because you go into any into any of these expat forums, and you see people advertising jobs, advertising many different things, and it just worries me. It worries me because through a chat forum, you don't know who you're dealing with. So if you're doing business internationally, you have to figure out a way to do it properly, a way to get referrals. I get a lot of referrals out of the expat groups. A lot of referrals out of the expat groups. These are customers that we service over the years, and then it's easy to tell. It's like 5 people saying, yeah, you can talk to this company. But go beyond that. Look for does he have a company? Is it a company, or is it just a person that could disappear tomorrow? Go for the formality. There is a reason why it's important to have a business that is incorporated, that has a good reputation, that's got Google reviews or Better Business Bureau reviews. I can't pronounce that. Or Yelp. All of those things. There is a reason why, and the reason is, there is a lot of service providers. There's a lot of people that are just thinking about starting a business. That they don't know what you're doing. People think being in business is easy because you don't have a boss, but in reality, it's really hard because you're now having I own a business and I have 66 bosses every month. We manage around 66 to 70 shipments at the very same time. So these are people that I'm committing. Myself, that I'm hiring a crew. I train a crew of professionals that do operations, that they do invoicing, that they do follow-up, they do customs. So it's an entire group of people that I have to hire in order for me to service, because I know I cannot handle. It's a lot of things about having a business. So people would just go out there and say, hey, I'm doing shipping. And it happens all the time in my industry. I notice in the expert groups, it's very easy to say, it's very easy to tell when somebody don't have the minimum formality for a business. If you have, anybody advertising, let's say, shipping services, it'll be, they will give you their Gmail email, something like shipping to Costa Rica, or ship, or international shipping at gmail at yahoo.com.
Right.
They may be an excellent person to deal with, but if they don't put the minimum investment of $10 a month to have a professional domain for a business, I think that they have, something is missing out there. Is it not? Why not? I mean, it's only $10 a month to be a little professional. Now, if they don't do $10 a month, I don't think they will even have a corporation or a business bank account. So if you end up trying to sue somebody, trying to get something back out of them, nothing is going to happen. You're going to just lose your money. And this is why we highly recommend use a professional, somebody that has track record, look for reviews, look for referrals, ask for corporate referral letter. And this is just the only way you do business in Latin America. It may be different in the US, but in Latin America, you wanna make sure who you're doing business with. Go ahead. We're just closing with the closing time. You wanna say something for closing?
Well, I guess we would just say, if you're watching this video, then you're probably really thinking about moving to Costa Rica or maybe another country in Latin America. And if you want, someone to have your back throughout the process and help you out, Start Abroad is here for you. We work with a network of great partners as well, including international relocation partner in Pablo. And yeah, if you also have any questions at any point, you can always reach out to us.
We do free 15-minute consultations. There's a lot of people who just want to know what their options are or where to start. We are happy to talk to you. You can reach out to us at info@startabroad.com.
Here you go.
We do $10 a month to get the startabroad.com.
There you go.
So we're legit. Yeah, we'd be happy to talk to you. We love living abroad. It's been a really meaningful experience in our lives, and we can't imagine doing anything different. And there's a lot of people who need to or want to do the same thing, who need help. And reach out to us. We can likely provide a lot of help.
Well, guys, thank you very much for this opportunity. I just want to remind everybody that you guys help people move to not just Costa Rica. This is where you guys live. But of course, you guys help them move to another destination, like it's very popular as well, Panama and Portugal, which we are also doing international shipping to Portugal and very much so to Panama. So if you need help, the additional guidance, Start Abroad can help you. Thank you very much. And our time is up.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, have a good one.
Good to see you.